I ain't going to put my cap on to keep my hair out of my eyes. I'm putting it on to keep the sun out of yours, ladies and gentlemen. It's great to be here. They're talking in recent weeks about the sex equality. But it's all wrong, you know. I was down at Darlaston recently doing some interviews on behalf of ATV about how people felt about it. And I says to one old man, "What's think about the new sex bill?" He says, "I suppose we'll have to pay it, shall we?" But of course, it's never been like that. I mean, men and women being equal, feeling the same, it's all wrong. You ain't going to tell me as men enjoy feeling a bit under par. Yeah, you've got to think about him. And when you hear Ralph's dialect, you know, it's a bit different, and Tommy Munden from Ayleshowen, and Tommy Edwards, my old mate, who was a midnight comedian, we was born and reared at Tippen. It's all wrong that we're still 18 missionaries there, we stopped years ago. We're about 8 octaves lower than the Ayleshowen folks are talking like Ralph and Tommy and them higher up than we done. But there's still 7 or 8 perceptible variations of the dialect in the Black Country, and about how we speak is in the news. And I bet you I've heard all sorts of views. And some reckon we accent's due to the grime, which goes down with wazzins most of the time. And a lot call way up the way we're talking, but you'll keep your ears open when you're walking any place with Black Country folk in, and you'll hear these words, and I by joking, we don't say do not, we just say do. That's the truth, but perhaps you'll know. Going is going, and come is come. If you're going home, I'm going home. Where you been is where have you been. I trust you with it and see what I mean. It's easy, Aki, to get in a mess. Because it ain't simple, you must confess, don't give in. That's doggy way. There's just a bit more I'd like to say about words that we use every day. Just use your heads, that's the key. Teachers at school, I'm teachers at school. Study a bit if you do as a rule. You can prove it yourself, you'll take a vote. Nobody speaks English the way it's wrote, so don't get flummoxed. That's simply confused. I've quoted but few of our words that are used. With accentuation, there are positively more. We are the wool, we what we sure or we call. You'll get out and about, you'll listen and see. I'd hazard a guess then that most would agree. Our kid, it would be a real crying shame if Black Country folks did all speak the same. There you go. Mind you, Tommy Edwards, you know, I'll tell you something about Tommy. He's the last bloke I'd like to be shipwrecked with. He ain't anything. When he was a kid, his mother used to try to spike posh, and of course there's nothing worse than folks that try to put it on. I mean, you've got them over this road, you've got them everywhere, you know, you meet them at weddings. I've only got our 2 champagnes. Oh, they sound all the H's in all the wrong places, you know. Oh, they. And his mother was one of that, Tommy's mother. He says, one more says, "Come here, Tommy," says. He says, "Oh, I'll come in, you know." You know. He says, "How is it," he says, "as last night," he says, "there was 2 pieces of apple pie on the celly yet," he says. He says, "There's only one this morning," he says, "because I couldn't see the t'other bugger in the dark." And he's always tried to be a bit above himself, I'll say that for him. He only puts 3x2 slabs down for the council. He goes telling folks he's a pathologist. And when he drove the steamroller, he got it about, he got a company vehicle. That's what sort of bloke he is. Mind you, I was born at Prince's End, Tipton, by the Prince of Wales, if anybody knows it. And my sister, well, we got a little provision shop, and it was a wool shop really, because folks say, "Will you save me this, will you save me the t'other," you know. It's right off. My sister next door, but one egg got official wool shop, and a proper job, you know. Old woman come in there, says, "I want 4 ounces of red wool off the front of the window." My sister says, "I want 4 ounces of red wool off the front." She says, "Oh, I want 4 ounces of red wool off the front of the window." My sister says, "When you're getting yourself a cardigan or a scarf, Liza," I says, "No." I says, "I'm knitting a pull-over for my dog because he keeps catching cold." I said, "What sort of dog is it?" I says, "A bull terrier," I says. My sister says, "Well, a bull terrier's a bit broad across the shoulders." I says, "You know that they a lot." I says, 4 ounces of wool." I says, "Why don't you bring the dog in the shop and we'll measure him? Make sure you've got enough wool for him." I says, "Oh, what I wanted to do that because I wanted to be a surprise for him." Oh, it's right, though, you do get... Mind you, this end, I come over this road occasionally, I don't mind going abroad. And I met one woman one day, I was doing a bit of interviewing, I'd got a poodle here, French poodle, I was trying to teach a bark in French, you know, I'm really stuck up out there, you know, we get some on them. It's about tough, I don't say them tough in ours, but they got bluebird packets around the nostrils, you know, you can pick them out. We get them all over the Black Country. But there's nothing worse, as I say, than when they try to put this thing on, you know. And of course you meet all sorts, like the vicar, you know, up Sedgley. Heineken Ale I bought old motor there, you know. They couldn't get it going, they was cussing blue flashes. And the vicar come up, he says, I can hear you. He said, it's the Sabbath day. He said, and people along here, they don't want to hear this. He said, blaspheming, he said, and saying this thing. He said, what's wrong? Heineken says, the bloody car won't go. And the vicar said, well, he said, swearing won't make it go. He said, I strongly advise you and your friend here to kneel by the car, put your hands together, say a little prayer, and see what that does. So Heineken and I knelt by the car, and I said a little prayer. He said, now get into the car and switch the ignition key on. And straight away the engine started. The vicar says, well, bloody hell. One of the most popular spots, ladies and gentlemen, for coating now. I was chatting to Les Raffles at the bar. He says, well, I do the one about the coating at the bus stops. He comes from Darlaston, and you'll see a lot round that area where I got no bunks, there ain't no bunks to go over now. They've levelled them all out. There ain't no holes, no trees hardly, you know, and they'll have a trees. And they do the coating around the bus stops. If ever a graph was produced to show the most popular spot for coating, it'd be the bus stops. Well, they've levelled the bunks and they've filled the holes. So they're the coating around the poles and the bus stops now. They have snogging snugs where the chaps and wenches go for hugs. And they're showing off a trick or two to the folks and waiting in the queue. But queues don't count when they're in a cuddle. And in any case, the mind's in a muddle. Wherever they've been, they don't care. If a buzzload of folks stand and stare, it's exciting stuff straight off the cuff. And they don't know when they've had enough. They're lost to the world in sweet embraces. We couldn't care less look on the faces. We've had sex in the papers and on TV. Now it's round the bus stops for all to see. I'm full to the brim with love and kissing, and they don't care if the buzz is missing. Once our kid the lips have met, they don't hear nothing, you can bet. It'd take 1,000 Midland Reds to make someone shift the heads. I'm thinking of someone to tie the buzz, and they don't care if it comes and goes. Because as I say, they just don't care. It's a trip to Loveland without the fare. They don't wait till the coast is clear. They go into clinches anywhere. Any place now does for hugs. On the bus stops now, I'm snogging snugs. I thought I'd just chuck one in, you know, before the interval about television. I've done a few broadcasts, you know. I'm advertising Brill Cream shortly for the Silver King folks. And thank you. Years ago, I wrote one that paid me to keep my mouth shut, actually, about the adverts. Well, you'll be watching a programme, perhaps double your money, and on to come the adverts, well, more than funny. Well, I by joking, they make me smile. You'd get cigars, then bras, then beer, then oil. And you'd want about £1,000 a week to buy the lot. So take your pick. Now you'll check that advert yourself, you'll notice, mate. Most of them suck or what to write. It's have you for a break, a Kit Kat tried. Penguin, perhaps it's chock outside. Then it's Aero chocolate with a lot of bubbles. Promise lemon meringue to get your troubles. Then it's Mars bars, Milky Ways, them are nice. Then the bikini wenches with ambrosia rice. I'm stuck for words, you don't know what to say. Well, let Cadbury solve it with their milk tray. And the dancing girl was a bit of all right. A Slington with a Turkish delight. Then you've got contrast chocolate to pamper your pet. Next minute you're gone and join the tie set. Then you'll get all that saffness talk. Is it butter or is it stalk? Then it was Weetabix, then shredded wheat and the polo mints, what they ate in the street out on a bit. For them in hurry, you've got Vesta beef, spice and curry. And if you've got hungry nipper, shut his cake all with your sardine skipper. And if you still haven't had enough, finish him off with your sugar puff. If you're a woman, you won't have no rest. Not till you'll pass the gravy test. There's spaghetti, black magic, then baked beans. Well, how much more can I poke on your screens? I'd want a belly 5 foot wide, or I'd eat them all and mother's pride. It's the truth though, ain't I alright? They stuff you with all sorts every night. And if you really could eat all them, you'd all deserve the bloody CDM. Thank you. We're trying to time things out nicely, you know. The changing scene of the Black Country, ladies and gentlemen, brings me very nicely on to one that I wrote many years ago about a tatter at Tipton, and his name was Tuzzy Duffield. And I went into a pub, strangely enough, called the Three Horseshoes, and he was crying his eyes up. I said, "What's up with you, Tuzzy?" He said, "I've lost my horse." And when he told me he lost him, he hadn't really lost him, he hadn't mislaid him, he hadn't run off, he died. And this bloke was really completely full. He was crying his eyes up. And I took him back home, and I wrote this one. The horses are going off the street. You don't hear much the clop of the feet. It's enough to break an old un's heart to see them go on the cart. They've got to go, it's there or all. To make it clear for the motor car, these petrol stations, all round the place, where the horses stood, with a tin on the face. How about the blacksmith shops, for the horses' shoes? We all could hear the latest news. Why is they hammered the shoe on horses' hoof? It smelt the place, floor to roof. You all can remember them stamping and tossing the head, as good as telling you they'd got to be fed. Black horses, brown horses, white uns and greys. There was plenty about in the old-fashioned days. Bread horses, milk horses, anything at all. They were there at beck and call. And how about the cobble roads to help them to pull? Great heavy carts with stuff so full. There was funeral horses with black shining coats and hooves a-shining like polished boots. Governor's cart horses stood outside of the inns. There was pit horses and rail horses, and horses to empty the bins. And how about them horses all round the cuts with the boats to pull, to strain the guts all them wake all hours with body and soul, touching iron and wood, anything, coal. It's only now and again as we get a treat here, the clop of us. Out on the street, I could keep going on, and I don't know why. I think if I did, I just had to cry. It was a good while ago. The time don't matter. I talked about horses, and it was we an old tatter, and it was him who told me it'd break his heart to watch his horse go, and then his car. Thanks for listening. As I say,